I think it's afternoon already over there. So let me say good afternoon to you all. Let me first of all thank Laura for inviting me, and also all the organizers of the UA Day in Uruguay. I would have loved to be physically present in Uruguay. Unfortunately, I am virtually present, and I will be giving a brief presentation. And I think this is one of the things, because I know I wish I could speak Spanish, because I know this is one of the beauty of universal acceptance. And that is also one of the importance of why we are here today, so that we understand the fact that it is not just only us. We have people from different part of the world. We look different. We speak different languages, but we live in the same world, the internet, the world of the internet. The internet is what is connecting me to you today. So we live in a world whereby the internet connects all of us together. And it is a world that is global. It is a world that it's one world, one internet. And we have that one internet to share. And the fact that we have different language means everybody must be accommodated. And that is the importance of universal acceptance. And that is also one of the reasons why I'm here today, to make you understand that this is the world we live in, and we have to ensure that the internet speaks our language. Because obviously, when I wanted to start my presentation today, I was thinking I have to speak one or two Spanish words. And the reason why I was thinking along that line was because I know that you would accept me more if I speak Spanish. Assuming I can speak Spanish fluently and I started speaking Spanish, I'm sure you will be wondering that where is this African man? Where did he learn Spanish from? Because we have that affinity to our language. Everybody has that affinity to their language, especially I know a lot of us must have traveled abroad. When you hear somebody speak your language, you look at the person, you look for the person, because you have that affinity. You have that something in common with your language, and that is what universal acceptance is all about. So I will be talking about that, and I'll be talking about what we have been doing in Africa, just for you to know that universal acceptance is not just about one country. It is not just about an individual. It is not just about a group of people. It is about all of us across the globe, across various stakeholders, coming together to ensure that the internet speaks our language. It is very, very important. So let me briefly, I know Laura has introduced me, but let me tell you that I'm a universal acceptance ambassador. And I am one of those that goes from one country to the other. And I'm so excited to be giving this presentation today, because about 3, 4 weeks ago, I was in a French country. I don't speak a lot of French, but I went to deliver universal acceptance in a French speaking country. And it was a new world to me, because I understood so many things I never understood before. And it is good for me to be in the land of Spanish today to speak to you. So that is the purpose of my presentation. And I want to acknowledge that the UA is significant globally, and it is not just for Africa. So when we are talking about universal acceptance, I know the previous speaker has explained to you that what we want is for the domain names to be having in any character, not just in English character. It can be in any character. We are no longer talking about ASCII. Okay? We don't want to be talking about just ASCII characters anymore. And that is the importance of universal acceptance, that you can have domain names that can be in any alphabet, in any language. Okay? Whether it is in Chinese, whether it's in Arabic, whether it's in my local language, which is called Yoruba. Okay? In my local language, we have some specific things that is different from the English. So we want to have domain names that it is also across that line. And that is the essence of universal acceptance. And just like the previous speaker must have mentioned, it is not just something that one person can actually implement. It is something that has to be implemented across board. And that is why I will just share with you a lot of the things that we're doing in Africa. So when we're talking about universal acceptance, it is ensuring that everybody, regardless of their location, whether they are based in Nigeria, whether they are based in Uruguay, whether they are based in Prague, it doesn't really matter. No matter their income, no matter their level of education, must have access to the internet. And not just having access to the internet, they must have access to the internet in the way they want to have access to the internet. Allow the internet to speak their language. Let me tell you, in Africa, we have over 900 million. I know that is probably 450,000 times the size of Uruguay. Africa is a big continent for those of you who have not been to Africa. And we have about 54 countries in Africa. But I must tell you, 58% of the African population lives in rural area. Okay? There is also what we call the digital divide between the urban and the rural areas. Okay? We have challenges in terms of infrastructure gaps, high cost, energy deficiency, and a lot of things. Okay? But one thing is that we are also committed to digital inclusion. We have platforms for advocacy, innovation, and collaboration. And we have also been having our own Universal Acceptance Day. We started about 2 years ago. Okay, for example, in Nigeria, we had the UA Day that started 2 years ago, and we're having it, and we've had our own 2025 UA Day in about a week ago, which was on the 20th of May. That was when we had the Nigerian UA Day. And in terms of across Africa, this is also happening, just for you to know that it's not just happening in Uruguay. We've had UA Day in Niger, we have in Kenya, we've had in Namibia, we've had across African countries, a lot of these African countries, and it is happening across. And one thing that we need to emphasize is that everybody have to be on board. It is not just for you, it is not just for myself. For us to have a truly global internet, it has to be that whatever the character, whether it's in Arabic, whether it's in your Spanish, your domain names must be able to be in whatever character you want it. And at the same time, just like what the previous speaker must have mentioned, that previously the top level domains were actually 3 letters. But now what we're saying with universal acceptance is the fact that it is not just 3 letters. It can be longer than 3 letters. We want to have things like we're having now, .Africa, .Johannesburg, we want to have .Nigeria, we want to have .elk, we want to have it in whatever length we want to have it. Okay? And that is also very, very important for us, and is also important for you and I. So that is the thing about universal acceptance. And in Africa, we are linguistically diverse. We have over 2,000 languages. And that is why it is important for us that we need to have local content. We need to have our language identity online, because Africa is diverse. Over 2,000 languages. And that is why it is critical for us to have internationalized domain names, or we have email address internationalization. And I want to tell you that there is rapid digital transformation that is happening across Africa. The new GTLD rounds in Africa now, we have .Africa, which has been in existence for some time now. And we're hoping that in the next GTLD round, we would also key into it. We want to have a lot of our city names in this domain. Also, the African top level domain is also very, very active. And I'm sure we're also active. And like you have Internet Society is also active with us here across Africa. So what we are doing is we're partnering, just like the way you are partnering with ICANN and with the UASG, and also just like we have also partnered with UNESCO. I'm sure probably UNESCO is also partnering with you today there. And this is something that you have to understand, that it is happening across the globe. Okay? In terms of challenges, we need to be aware. There is low awareness about universal acceptance, especially from developers. especially from students. A lot of students, when they are still doing their programming, they are still doing programming the old-fashioned way. They are not using the UTF-8 that was explained earlier. They are just doing the old-fashioned programming to program top-level domains to be in 3 characters. And that is why we have to tell everybody that our software must move from the legacy platform. We have to move to the non-ASCII domains, okay? And there has to be. And we also need to ensure that our public digital services is also keen into this. Also, I want to also mention that we also have National ICT Plan that is also incorporating the internationalized domain. And one thing we have done successfully in Africa is the fact that we came together as one continent and decided to modify our computer science curriculum to make sure that our computer science curriculum is not teaching our students just 3-letter domain names, where students would know right from the university that they have to continue to make sure that the internet is universally acceptable, such that, and we have been able to do that. So what we did was to bring African universities together. We met about 2 years ago in Morocco, and all of us came together and we put a lot of people together from different institutions in order to have a computer science curriculum. That computer science curriculum now reflects universal acceptance in it, just like because it is important for students to also do that. Then UA integration into digital inclusion programs, we're also doing that across Africa, okay? And if you know, one of the best that domain names that is doing well across the globe is .za, which is fully compliant with universally acceptance. We also have the .ng in Nigeria, which is also compliant. And it is important for us, especially I know a lot of us, because I know this event is being held in the university, a lot of us as academics needs to key into this. It is important for academics to key into this. And also, we need to ensure that we have our future priorities, that everything is going to be fully UA ready, inclusion of all languages in the top level domain, across the globe. And also the vision that we have in Africa is that our script, our identity, everybody can speak Yoruba, Aramaic on the internet, and that is why we are here today. So what we are calling for is collaboration across borders, that we have to collaborate. You have to collaborate with us in Africa. We in Africa have to collaborate with you in Latin America. We have to collaborate with you in Uruguay. We have to upgrade our system such that it can accept all domain names and emails. It can be inclusive, okay, designed for every language and script. So I want to say thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. And I hope you have learned 1 or 2 things or you've enjoyed 1 or 2 things. Thank you once again to the organizers for inviting me today.